This vent doesn't look like it leaked too bad. Maybe a little bit. There's no hardware on this one. Anything? Oh, there's something in there. My eyes are adjusting. One-handed is all. Oh, guys, check it out. Welcome back, everybody. Silas here today. I'm out of the junkyard. Today, we're going to do a treasure hunt. We're going to dig through all these old campers. This area back here was clear full of campers. This whole area, they were lined up. I've been ripping them apart. Those are all in different videos. This in here was clear over there. I moved it over a little bit closer. I brought this a little bit closer. What I've been doing is trying to rip them all apart in the exact same spot. I roll them over right here. Usually I just flip them over upside down. Then I grab a hold of the frame with the excavator and I shake it and the whole body falls off. And then I set the frame aside. I pick out all the big pieces of metal and then the rest of it I take and pack in the trash dumpster. I think we've shipped out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 campers so far that I've ripped apart, but there's still a handful more of them out here, so we're going to take a little bit of time, go through them. And I found, actually I'll show you some stuff I found in the other ones real quick. I have been finding a few good pieces here and there. I did one the other day that had these really neat mud flaps on it. Washington, the Evergreen State, a nice pair of those, so I saved those. This panel here has got a neat badge on it of some sort. And then there's two of these here, they say the Executive. I thought those were just kind of neat. I found this oxygen bottle laying inside of one of them. That's a high dollar piece right there. The valve is gone, but guy can put that back in there. And then I pulled out a bunch of instrument clusters and grills and quite a few good parts really. So I thought there wouldn't be anything left on these things. And in fact, several of these campers had homeless people living in them at one point in time. The guy that used to own the property next door, he was actually the one that owned these campers. And if they were even somewhat livable, he would let people live in them. And by somewhat livable, I mean really not livable, but I guess it's better than sleeping in the grass. However, he passed away a number of years ago. His son took over the property. He had everything crushed on the place, but they wouldn't crush these campers. And so he said, I'll give you a few old cars if you'll take these campers too. I'll just shove them over on your property. Will you please help me out? And so we said, yeah, we'll do that. So that's how we got most of these campers. Now, every now and then we will accept campers if it has a good engine, like a 454 or something like that in it, but we do not buy campers. People all the time want to see videos of me crushing these campers in the crusher, but that's literally not an option. These are pretty much solid trash. There's a super thin layer of aluminum on the outside. The rest of them is all wood and trash. If I were to crush one of these in the crusher and ship it in like it is, they would dock me out the nose. So really, this right here is my only realistic option, is to go ahead and rip them apart and send it all to the landfill. The guy could bury it, but really you're just burying it and creating problems for the future. It's not that expensive just to go ahead and send it to the landfill and let them bury it. But anyway, if you want to see more about the demolition process of these, you'll have to check that out in my other videos. What I'm going to do today is I'm just going to start in the one over here, and I'm going to start going through them and see if I find anything interesting, see if I find any cool parts or whatever. And if there's cool parts on them, I'll be able to set them aside and know I need to pull those parts later when it's not a million degrees. And then in addition to that, I'll know which ones are ready to go. That way I can go ahead and drive the excavator back here, and I'll probably rip a couple of them apart this afternoon yet. What do we got here? I'm not sure what this is, a Winnebago maybe? It's got, looks like one-piece wheels on it, 5-lug wheels. Those might be something, but man, I don't know. People are picky on wheels anymore. I think the motor and tranny are gone in this one already. Yeah, they're gone. Instrument cluster's gone. Now I do need to be careful. I ripped apart a couple of them last week. They were clear full, and I mean clear full of bumblebees. Hundreds of bumblebees, and they were swarming everywhere. But I had the door closed on the excavator, so I just let them swarm. Oh, I thought I saw one there, but that's just a mud dauber. This in here looks like it's pretty well stripped out and toast. Don't really see anything in it. See, stuff like this, I can't send these to landfill. The tires, that's one thing I do have to make sure I pull out. But yeah, once I flip this thing over, rip it apart, I'll be able to like grab these water tanks, pull those back out. Maybe the stove up here, just stuff like that. The small piddly stuff like this, I don't even worry about it. Although that's a chunk of brass right there. There we go. And it's not a lot, but there's a couple bucks right there. Other than that, I think this one here is just about done, and I just about fell through the floor. That was spooky. Maybe save those wheels. I'll have to look at those, look them up a little bit later, see if they're worth anything. Next up, we have an old pickup camper that somebody cut the frame and made a trailer out of. It's a good idea, really, when you think about it. Once again, the roof is absolutely falling in. I do have to watch out for raccoons as well. Good way to take care of that is just, and if nothing scurries around, you know you're pretty well good to go. Looks like this one's been pretty well ransacked, although there's some computer boards. Don't know if those have anything good on them or not. Doesn't look like it. Move in ready. I'm guessing this is what we're gonna find most of today, is pretty much just trash. But you never know. There's always a chance of finding something good in here. Now, there's some good pieces on these boards. See these gold fingers right here? What I'll do is take my cutters and cut those off, and so I can sell those. Somebody already got them off of that one. There's some on this one. Looks like some on this one. Yeah, not a ton of money, but those do sell, and I actually sell those by the gram. Yep, none on that one. So, finding a few good things. Nothing in there. Nothing good in those cabinets. I've had people say, well, why don't you clean them the right way and pull them apart and save all the aluminum off of them and save the copper wire out of the walls and this and that. But, I mean, there's very little of that sort of stuff in these things. The amount of work it would take to get all this stuff off does not justify the profit doesn't justify the amount of work. Definitely not worth it. So let's check out the next one. Hopefully my battery survives. I accidentally hit the power button on my camera and it's been recording my pocket for the last 30 minutes, so the battery is just about dead. Looks like this one caught on fire at some point. What do we got down here? It's this radio. AM FM radio. Looks like it still seems to work somewhat. What's it say on the tag? Whoa, just about fell through the floor. This is some scary stuff here. 1983 LTD. Huh. That might be worth something. Looks like there's a bunch of parts in here. This must have been the part storage unit at one point in time. See if there's anything else in here that's still good. It's not rotted or nothing. A lot of vintage cassette and CD players are actually worth decent money. Looks like some maybe Corsica taillights. Probably not worth anything. Headlights. Here's a grill. What's the grill out of? Like a Ford Courier, I think is what that is. It's broken. Couple carburetors. Looks like just a two jet, or a dual jet, I mean. And yeah, a little one barrel setup off of a car, so nothing good there. Looks like a van tail light, some headlights, truck tail light. Don't really see anything else good in this one. Looks like they got most of the good stuff out of here. But this radio here, I mean, it's probably not worth a lot, but maybe 50 bucks as a buildable core, since everything still moves on it. Guy has to take them apart and completely clean them. Here's an instrument cluster though. Let's see what this is. Oh, it'll fall. Man, it's pretty rough. Looks like a bunch of ceiling fan parts. Another instrument cluster, but that one's newer. Oh, there's an old taillight. Let's go see what that is. Huh. That's a pretty old one there. I don't know what it's out of. I thought maybe that went with that, but it doesn't. Oh, that one's broken. Says 68. It's not broken, so I might hang on to that. And this, I don't know if that's worth anything or not, but I'll go ahead and grab it. So yeah, we're getting a small assortment of stuff. Just need a good tub to put it all in so I don't lose it all. Put that there. Put that there. We'll look it all up at the end and see what's worth money and what's not, and then throw the rest back in the scrap. Next up, this looks like a oh, what are these called? It's a Mopar drivetrain. Is it Arrow? Arrow is what they're called, I think, or Pierce, or I can't remember now. Big old pile of carpet meeting me at the door. Steering column, maybe some more car parts in this one. Oh, it's got a Dodge instrument cluster up there, so might be some good stuff in this one. Oh, it's got the dash shifter on it too, so yeah, there's some good parts on this one. I'll have to pull those parts off before I rip it apart. Kind of a neat stove in here too. Funky colored. I've seen people buy those before, but I've never had any luck, so I probably won't mess with saving that. The bathroom, anything good in there? Don't see anything. Closet, empty. Oh, it's got the matching fridge to go with the stove. That was a brave moment, opening up the fridge. You never know what you'll find in there. I don't really see anything good in this one. That's kind of neat. Celebrating 100 years. 2005 was the last time, well, that's when they put the sticker in here anyway, so it actually hasn't been off the road that long. Oh, check that out, guys. Right there. Water level indicator. That's kind of neat. I bet we can just rip that off of there. There we go. What brand is it? Cosco? Cosco? I don't know how you pronounce it. But it's a neat gauge. So yeah, I'll be sure to pull the stuff off of this one before I junk it. But it is too hot and humid today. It was 109 degrees yesterday. It's only supposed to get up to like 100 today. Here's the fun part, is jumping out. Oh, there we go. Next up, we've got a something Tasca. I don't know what this is. Anything in there? I can't tell. Uh-oh. Door doesn't open. It's locked. Does that mean there's treasures in there? Okay, I see how it opens now. I need to get a pair of pliers, and I can twist the lock, and then I can get in there. So we'll come back to that in a minute. I don't have any pliers. I think this one here, I'm not even going to bother looking in. There's no way there's anything good in there. We have a trans van. Anything good in this one? These things are really neat and good condition. It's full of wasps, so we probably won't look around too much, but we'll glance. It's got a couch, a table, some swivel chairs. The roof is falling in pretty good. All that shag carpet. Shag carpet galore. Like I say, these things are really neat when they're in good condition, but finding them in good condition is hard. There's probably, I don't know, when I started out here, I've already ripped apart 3 of these, so this is number 4. And I think there's actually another one up front. Oh, check this out, guys. It's got a port window in it. I'll have to see if there's one on the other side, but I'll for sure save those. That's a good chunk of money. The round ones aren't worth as much as the funky ones, but they still sell. Other than that, I don't think there's anything good on that thing. Pretty stripped out. Next up, we have a Pace Arrow. Guess we'll see if there's anything good in here. This is what I thought that other one was at first. There might be a few good things in here. We got some headlight rings. They're tore up, but for wall art purposes. And there's a pair of them. I don't know what those are, but we'll just go ahead and save them. Taillight bezels. Looks like maybe Monte Carlo or something like that. G-body. Here's a pair of something old. 1971. Those might be something good. So yeah, there's some good parts in this one. Oh, bunches of headlight bezels. That radio probably ain't anything good. I'll look it up before I junk it, but definitely a bunch of good headlight bezels. That one, they're still in pretty good shape. That'll probably sell. Oh yeah, bunches of good stuff. That's just a square body tail right there. Now there we go. I always use these round ones. Those are good for when I make my wall art and I don't have a headlight ring. I can put that on there. The whole roof is falling in pretty bad back here, so I doubt there's anything good. Looks like just trash and a toilet. But there's a handful of good parts laying right here. So yeah, definitely gonna save that stuff. Just dash parts, Don't see anything on the camper itself that's worth saving. But yeah, I'll definitely pull all this stuff out of here. I want to see what some of this stuff is worth real quick. So I looked these up. These are for a Fiat 128, which is kind of like that wagon that I just got not too long ago. I can't find any original ones that are all still complete like this on eBay. All I can find is either lenses or reproduction pieces, but I'm guessing it's probably 50 bucks, 60 bucks for the pair of these. This is for a 67 Impala. That's probably about 25, 30 bucks. These here, there's a pair of them. That one's really tore up, but this one here's pretty nice. This is for a 73 Roadrunner. They're selling for about 50 to 75 bucks a piece on eBay in just decent condition like this one. The pair of them, that one being kind of beat up, the guy probably could get the full 75 out of the pair of them. I didn't look the rest of these up, but I'll just definitely go ahead and save all of them. Oh, looky there. There's the first money we found so far. A penny. What year is it? I can't tell. Oh, it's a Canadian penny. That's cool. It's 1965 Canadian penny. Definitely interesting to find in a random old camper like this. I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, but I am drenched in sweat. It is hot out here right now and humid. Whew, absolutely miserable. But I think that is the last of them. Yeah, that's the last of them. We do have a couple more over on our property, but I know there's nothing in those because I used to dig in them when I was a kid years ago. I think there's about 4 or 5 more campers over there. So I'm gonna go get me a pair of pliers. That way I can go ahead and break into this one, see if there's anything good in there. All right, I think it's gonna work now. Well, I think. There we go. Okay. Any raccoons? Don't hear any scurrying. One of the campers we have on our property the other day, I got in it to make sure there was nothing good as far as gauges or anything like that, and big old raccoon was in there. Scared me half to death. I think, yeah, this one here has a 454 in it. Now, I knew one of these had a GM engine in it. Now the distributor's gone, the carburetor's gone. Don't know what good that engine's going to be, but I'll probably go ahead and save that engine for a core once I get it out. I'll just flip it over like normal, rip the body off. Oh wait, it's got a tilt column in it, guys. Check that out. Well, I'll have to pull that before I do anything. The custom guys still actually buy those tilt keyless columns like that, so yeah, that's a good piece. I'll definitely save that before I rip it apart. Kind of neat hardware. I might pull that hardware off of it too, off of these cabinets. There's a whole bunch of them. They're kind of unusual, and old hardware seems to sell pretty good. The roof on this one doesn't seem like it leaked as bad. I mean, it did around these vents right here, but oh, by the power of Grayskull, or how did it go? The old He-Man cartoon. It's been a long time, 25, almost 30 years since I've seen that. I doubt that's what that is. It's just the first thing that popped in my head. But yeah, there's a bunch of these hardware pieces, so how do they go on there? Oh, just, yeah, Phillips screw. Yeah, I'll definitely cut through and pull a bunch of those out. Anything good in these cabinets? Nothing yet. Oh, this has got a curtain that went across here so you could change your clothes right here by the sink. This must be the shower. Yeah, it's got a bathtub slash shower. Nope, no clothes. This one even had a thermostat on it, Coleman thermostat. That's fancy. This vent doesn't look like it leaked too bad. Maybe a little bit. There's no hardware on this one. Anything? Oh, there's something in there. My eyes are adjusting. What is it? I can't. It's like a box. There's something in it. Let me get over here in the light. One-handed is all. Oh, guys, check it out. I thought it was going to be empty or have like nothing in it, but look at that. What in the world? Is that gold? I don't have my glasses, so I'm having a hard time adjusting what looks like a airborne, maybe a hat pin or something like that. This camera's not very good for the small stuff, but man, that's pretty cool. I don't see any like 14 karat or 12 karat, 10 karat, nothing like that marked on it, so I don't think it's gold, but it's kind of neat little pieces. I don't know what the AMA or MAA. And my camera just died, so I don't know if I even caught that last part. But this camera here, I can zoom in anyway. This is just my phone. But yeah, I was saying these pins here. This one here says MAA, and that one says AMA. Or maybe they're both AMA and just they're arranged different. I don't know. And it looks like a GM key and an airborne. Mess with the best, die like the rest. Looks like a, what is that, a tie clip? Either an M or a W. And a cuff link maybe? Is that a cuff link? I don't know what that is. I'm not a sort of person that's into all this sort of stuff. Or those tie pins as well. I don't really know what those are. But they're neat though. And they look old. Everything in here looks pretty old. So I want to take this stuff up to the truck and look it up a little bit better and see what it is. But I do want to go ahead before I go up there and look up, see what it is. I want to make sure there's nothing else good in here. Since this is the last one, I got excited and stopped what I was doing. Guess I can check and see if there's anything else in here. I can't see. What's crazy is the camera on this is so good on this phone that I can actually look at the screen and see exactly what's in here. Whereas before it was so dark that I couldn't see. I barely even saw that case because it was up here kind of against this ledge. It's wild how on the camera it looks like daylight, but in actual reality, it's dark. I think that's about it though. Oh, here's a cabinet. Nothing in there. Drawers empty. I want to make sure I check every cabinet thoroughly. I didn't expect to find anything. I can't believe that would even be in here. How somebody else didn't find that through the years, I have no clue. Yeah, I don't see anything else, so I'm going to pull the steering column and probably this hardware off these cabinets before I rip this one apart. So it looks like I need to save this camper and that camper beside it to pull parts off of. The rest of them I can go ahead and rip apart. And then I have all those parts I need to get out of that one before I rip it apart. This got a 400 turbo in it as well, I forgot to mention. And that's about a $250 core. Then the engine, the guy can probably get, if it turns, the guy can get decent money, but I doubt it's going to turn, being sitting like this forever. So I'm looking at probably, you know, 250 for a locked up core on this one as well. But time will tell on that. We'll have to check. It's got some headlight rings I can use on it as well. And this had that instrument cluster in it. So if you add up all these parts and that steering column, the value of that stuff, what is that, 5, 6, 7, plus those parts that were in that other one over there, probably looking at 850 or so. And then wasn't there some parts in something else? Oh yeah, I set them over here on the ground. I mean, even if there's another, you know, 50 bucks or so worth of stuff there, that's about $900 worth of stuff in these campers, not counting whatever is in this. This stuff here is not gold, so this stuff might be maybe $1 for everything. I don't know. We'll look it up when we get back to the truck. It's fun to find this stuff, but that doesn't mean it's worth anything. But still, I mean, that's, like I say, about $900 worth of stuff in these old campers. Unless those wheels are worth anything on that one over there. If those are worth anything, that'll be more. That's not bad considering these were all free. Now, there is a lot of time invested into ripping these things apart. However, we get the frames out of them once we rip them apart, and there's usually enough weight in these frames, the rear ends and what motors are still in them and things like that, that pays for the landfill fees to get rid of them, the dumpster fees, and then it also pays for the time. And so we don't really make much money, but we don't lose money either. It basically pays for itself, so it's a wash. That's why we normally don't even take campers unless they have something good like that 454 and 400 turbo. Or like I've got a camper inside the fence over there that's got a 22,000 mile engine, 350 with a 400 turbo behind it, only 22,000 miles, and it still runs. And it's got a chrome grille and a chrome bumper. It's a 70s Chevy. And so, I mean, there's $1,500, $2,000 worth of stuff there. So it's definitely worth the time. And I'm probably being a little bit too low when I say it's a wash. We do make money on them, just not a ton of money. We probably, when you deduct for the time and everything, we probably make about 75 to 100 bucks per camper off of the scrap value. And like I say, I can knock out 3 or 4 campers within a couple hours. So, I mean, it is a little bit of money. It's worth doing. But compared to processing all these vehicles out here, it's really not worth doing. But we do need to get it done, get them off the property. There's money in just about everything out here. The thing is how much money is there per hour compared to something else? But then you also have the factor of those campers are horrible and ugly and they just don't look good sitting back there. So what do you do? All right, I finally had a chance to look this stuff up, and these here are actually some fairly old pieces. They're kind of neat. But what the AMA stands for, and it is AMA, but it's American Motorcycle Association. I don't know how accurate it was, but what I was reading online says they're out of the 50s, so, or 60s maybe. But regardless of how old they are, I found them selling for about 10 to 15 bucks a piece. This pen here, I found actually quite a few of these. They still make these, but they're not quite as old as this one. You can tell this one's a little bit older, but once again, that's probably about 10 bucks. And then these are tie pins. This here would go through like your buttonhole of your shirt, and then you would pin your tie like that, pin it together. That way it wouldn't pull away or swing to the side to side too much. I found this one here, some very similar to that, for about 10 bucks online. But this one here, I noticed it had some writing on the back of it, and I couldn't figure out what it said. So I zoomed in on it, and it said Swark, or Swank. Yeah, Swank, not Swark. Guys, it's hot, I can't think straight. But anyway, I did some research on these, and this is actually a fairly good quality piece. That's an opal there in the middle of it. I forget what size it is now, but anyway, I found one in much worse condition than this that sold for 70 bucks, and there's several that are listed for sale right now that aren't this nice, for in the $70 to $80 range. So I mean, this in here might be worth 100 bucks, or maybe I can sell it quick for 70, I don't know. What I'll probably do is put all 3 of those hat pins in one lot together, and then I'll put both of those tie pins in a lot together. Probably list those for like 30 bucks, 40 bucks, something like that. I'll do a little bit more research on them and compare condition and all that good stuff. And then those there, maybe I'll list those for 100 for the pair or something like that, and I'll include the case. And then the little tie clip here is bent, so that's probably nothing. Throw that in my junkyard treasure jars. And then this here key, probably same thing with that. But still, I mean, there's, you know, $100, $125. So that's over $1,000 worth of junk we found in those campers. That's just crazy to me that there's that much stuff in those things. I mean, they've been sitting out here on our neighbor's property for probably 20 years. Some of those campers have been out there for most of my life, so 30 years. And then they sat on our property for a few years as well. So, I mean, they've been sitting a long time. They've been ransacked. They had people living in some of them. Some of them were used for part storage. Honestly, I think the only reason why this case was in that one is because the that door was locked and I couldn't get in there without a pair of pliers. But even then, it looked like it had been somewhat ransacked. So they must have just literally not seen it, kind of like me. In the dark, I almost didn't see it. The only way I saw it was because I saw it through the camera. But even like those car parts and things like that, how somebody didn't grab those at some point through the years, because that was a salvage yard for decades. How somebody didn't grab those parts out of there, I don't know. Especially like the satellite headlight bezels. I mean, that's a good piece. But I'm not going to complain. I'll take what I can get. I know you guys have been asking for a junkyard treasure hunt video, and I've been racking my brain because there hasn't been any impound auctions lately. And I've been thinking, man, what am I going to do for a treasure hunt? And I saw those campers sitting there, and I figured I got to go through them anyway. And I figured maybe I'd find an instrument cluster or something like that, a grill maybe. But I was thinking, man, this is going to be kind of a boring video. I'm probably not going to find anything good at all. But I honestly think I found better stuff digging through those old rotted campers than I usually do digging through cars. Oh, and I forgot, I found the penny too, the Canadian penny in 1965. So you just never know what you're going to find out at the junkyard, that is for sure. But anyway, I know it's not a real long one, but I've had a ton of people asking for junkyard treasure hunts, and this is only the second one I've been able to do in the last 3 or 4 months. I do have a truck that I bought at a storage sale. I haven't had a chance to go through it, but that's the only vehicle. And so I thought about doing a video of it. I'm going to try to get it running and do some work on it, try to get it going. It's a late model truck, but I figured maybe I'll put that on the second channel. Which on that, link to the second channel is in the description below. More adventures made from scratch. I do a lot of fun and interesting stuff on there too, so definitely check that out. But I do need to get to work now, start ripping those apart. Like I say, if you want to see those things getting ripped apart, you'll have to check out the other videos. A wasp just flew in my truck, so I'm gonna have to figure that one out real quick. I'll let you all go. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day, and remember to get out there and find an adventure. And sometimes you may not think it's gonna be that fun, but it actually ends up being pretty fun. We'll see you next time.